Hey friends, have you seen these cute little palette American flags at the Dollar Tree in the plus section or maybe at Family Dollar too? Well, I grabbed one and I thought I would give it some beautiful embellishments and a little bit of a rustic touch to make it more my style, jazz it up a little bit. And if you're new around here, I'm Summer with Hammond'sNest.com, and I love sharing simple DIY ideas so you can make your home uniquely yours. So my first step in giving this American flag a bit more character is to add some florals. I'm layering some greenberry bush and some navy blue baby's breath that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. So it's kind of got that swag shape to it. And the florals I chose themselves are actually very airy and wispy, and I wanted that look especially because I am making a fabric rag bow to layer on top. If you've never made an easy fabric, kind of messy bow, rag bow they're called, you can just pick your favorite fabrics. You can cut the strips as wide as you want. Now I say cut, I usually cut a little snip and then I rip the rest, so I call it a ripped fabric bow. And then you can just layer them in any pattern that you want and add as many strips as you like for how big and fluffy that you want it. I'm going to end up doing 3 strips of each, 3 strips of red, white, and then the blue florals. All of these fabrics you see here did come from Hobby Lobby. And so as you can see, all I'm doing is layering them in between this little bow maker that helps me hold the fabrics together. And I'm creating 2 loops and 2 tails. So I'm just layering those on top of each other. Now, sometimes I don't change how wide the loops go out, but for this one, I'm getting a little bit shorter and a little bit shorter as I'm working in towards the center, which will be the top piece. So in the end, like the first piece of fabric I laid down, the loops will be wider than the last piece of fabric that I lay on top before I tie it all off with some string. And that really is just dependent upon the project, kind of how you're feeling, and then also the length of your tails and everything. You can change that up, trim it up. It's really to each project. I do it a little different, it just depends. So once I get that final, I think this blue floral piece will be the last one. I'm going to take it out of this little bow maker and I'm going to tie it off with some jute string. Real nice and tight in the center is always your best bet when making beautiful bows, whether you're working with fabrics or wired ribbon. Getting a really nice tight center is key. So I'm going to fluff that out a little bit and get all my loops going the right way. And then I can always trim up a little bit more once I get it attached to the American flag. Now I need a little tag. I've got a blank wooden tag from Hobby Lobby and some stamps and some black ink. And I am going to stamp a tag that says faith, family, and freedom. Now, my camera messed up on this part, so you're going to have to fast forward. And all I did was stamp those. And then I just did a little bit of ink along the edges for some distressing as well. Now, let's put all of these elements together. I'm going to staple the tag underneath as I'm layering it. Staple that bow in place as well. And then I'll do some trimming. And if I trim the edges like this, I always tatter them just to make them match the rest of the ripped fabric. And then I'm going to, for a final touch, which I felt like I was so glad that I did this part because it really brought it all together, was taking that same ink pad and running it along the edges and then along some of the white pieces of wood and the red pieces of wood on the inside and just giving it more of a faded, aged look. Lastly, the very last touch is a cute little wooden button in the center of that bow. It ties into the color of the tag and the distressing and everything. It all goes together. And I just love it so much. Is it not the sweetest? So just with a few simple embellishments, we took a $5 American wood flag from the dollar store and turned it into a beautiful focal piece for the patriotic holidays. I hope you enjoyed seeing this one. Thanks for watching.